General Hospital will reveal the latest behind-the-scenes leak from General Hospital has sent shockwaves rippling through its passionate fanbase, as rumors suggest that none other than Stephen A. Smith, renowned ESPN sports commentator and polarizing presidential hopeful, may soon be joining the long-running soap opera as a full-time cast member. This move, if confirmed, would mark a significant turning point not only in Smith's multifaceted career but also in the evolving narrative of General Hospital, where his recurring character Brick has already begun to reshape the underworld dynamics of Port Charles. Brick, Sonny Corinthos' fiercely loyal and ruthlessly efficient security consultant, is no longer just a peripheral enforcer appearing in blink-and-you-miss-it cameos. His latest return to the canvas has been marked by a string of high-octane scenes, including a now-viral sequence in which he single-handedly took down a would-be assassin disguised as a nurse, executing a flawless headshot just as Sonny lay unconscious and vulnerable. The moment, shot in slow motion with cinematic flair, was not only a testament to the character's lethal skill set but also a bold signal from the showrunners. Brick is no longer background muscle, he's a central force to be reckoned with in the deadly chessboard of Port Charles. It's a remarkable evolution for a character that debuted nearly a decade ago in what was originally conceived as a brief guest appearance. When Stephen A. Smith first appeared on General Hospital in 2016, many viewed it as a playful crossover, an unexpected dalliance by a prominent media figure in the world of daytime drama. But what started as a novelty quickly became a fan-favorite presence, and the show's producers soon recognized Smith's gritty authenticity, commanding presence, and unexpected acting chops. Over time, Brick's appearances increased, and now, the once occasional player is on the verge of becoming a full-time fixture in one of daytime television's most iconic ensembles. This potential transition is more than just a casting decision, it represents a historic moment that bridges the world of sports broadcasting, political commentary, and serialized fiction. In Brick, Smith has found a character that resonates with his public persona, confident, assertive, unafraid to make hard calls, and deeply loyal to those he protects. But while Smith is known for his boisterous, rapid-fire delivery on ESPN's First Take, Brick is a man of few words, deadly calm, always calculating, and willing to pull the trigger without hesitation. The contrast has been striking and has allowed Smith to demonstrate a surprisingly nuanced range as a performer. More importantly, Brick's ascent comes at a time when General Hospital is reconfiguring its power dynamics. With long-standing characters like Jason Morgan and Anna Devane preoccupied with new threats and shifting alliances, Sonny Corinthos needs someone who operates in the shadows with surgical precision, and Brick has more than proven himself. From intercepting encrypted communications to neutralizing traitors within the organization, Brick is fast becoming the linchpin in Sonny's operations. And in a town where every ally could be a future betrayer, Brick's unwavering loyalty has made him indispensable. Behind the scenes, speculation is rampant about how Smith's demanding ESPN schedule and burgeoning political ambitions might align with the daily production grind of General Hospital. Yet industry insiders suggest that a hybrid contract may be in the works, one that would allow Smith to continue select broadcasting duties while committing to a substantial storyline arc on GH. This would be a groundbreaking move, potentially setting a precedent for other high-profile media figures looking to straddle multiple entertainment sectors. Fan response has been overwhelmingly positive. Social media exploded after Brick's recent heroics, with hashtags like #BrickTheSavior and #GHNeedSmith trending across platforms. Viewers praised not just the character's badassery, but Smith's surprisingly grounded performance. Unlike many stunt castings that fade after a few episodes, Brick's presence has only grown in intensity and relevance. Many now see him as the natural successor to Jason in Sonny's inner circle, a streetwise operator who can enforce order without losing sight of the human cost. Thematically, Brick also offers new narrative possibilities. His connections to shadowy figures outside Port Charles, international arms dealers, rogue intelligence agents, and even WSB operatives, could open the door to a darker, grittier storyline arc, akin to a serialized spy thriller within the soap framework. And if Stephen A. Smith does indeed sign on full-time, expect the writers to delve deeper into Brick's past, his military background, his estranged family, or perhaps a personal vendetta that puts him at odds with both Sonny and the law. The stakes are high, but the payoff could be extraordinary. With Stephen A. Smith at the center, General Hospital has the opportunity to fuse daytime tradition with modern swagger, drawing in new viewers while reinvigorating longtime fans. Brick isn't just a security guy anymore, he's a storm waiting to be unleashed, a man with secrets, scars, and a future that may alter the very foundations of Port Charles. As this bold new chapter looms, one thing is clear: if Stephen A. Smith does become a full-time cast member of General Hospital, the entire landscape of the show may shift. Brick is no longer operating from the sidelines. He's stepping into the spotlight, and when he does, nothing, and no one, will be safe. However, the buzz surrounding Stephen A. Smith's potential full-time role on General Hospital isn't just fueled by what's happening behind the scenes, it's deeply rooted in the show's evolving narrative itself. Brick, once merely a secondary figure in Sonny Corinthos' vast criminal empire, has rapidly emerged as a central character in an increasingly intricate web of political subterfuge, arms trafficking, and internal power struggles. The writers are no longer content with relegating Brick to a few terse lines and a protective stance in the background. Instead, they are crafting for him a complex arc that positions him not only as a protector, but as a strategic operative, someone who knows everything. Within the walls of Port Charles, Brick has evolved into Sonny's most trusted confidant, the one person who not only executes orders but also anticipates threats long before they surface. He isn't just the man who eliminated an assassin posing as a nurse, he's the one who understood the deeper implications of the attack. The decision to eliminate the would-be killer wasn't just a protective instinct, it was a deliberate act to silence a pawn in a far greater game. It is now being suggested that this act of execution was linked to an ongoing conspiracy, one that may stretch far beyond local enemies. There are whispers about the involvement of Jen Sidwell, a powerful figure whose growing influence in the Port Charles business sector masks dangerous connections, and potentially even ties to the shadowy government agency known as the WSB. If these plotlines continue to unfold as hinted, Brick may soon find himself walking a tightrope between loyalty and survival. With access to Sonny's inner workings, sensitive data, covert networks, and even off-the-book alliances with government contacts, Brick becomes both the Mafia Don's strongest shield and greatest liability. Should his loyalty ever be questioned, the consequences could be catastrophic. Moreover, there's growing tension beneath the surface regarding whether Brick is truly acting in Sonny's best interests, or whether he's slowly becoming an autonomous force, operating according to his own code and possibly aligning himself with other power players behind Sonny's back. Outside the fictional realm, Stephen A. Smith's increasingly frequent appearances have sparked speculation about a career crossroads. With his iconic role at ESPN, particularly as the outspoken host of First Take, and a contract reportedly valued in the tens of millions, the idea of Smith leaving sports commentary for acting full-time may seem improbable at first glance. Yet for those who've been following his journey, the seeds of transformation have been visible for years. Smith has long expressed an admiration for the entertainment industry, and in a recent interview with People, he made headlines by stating he wouldn't rule out a career shift if a role ever lit that fire inside him. It's becoming increasingly apparent that General Hospital, and Brick specifically, may be that very role. The chemistry between Smith and the rest of the cast, especially Maurice Benard, Sonny, has been palpable. Their dynamic exudes mutual respect and a believable history that has anchored some of the show's most compelling scenes. Producers and fans alike have noted that there is an unmistakable energy when Brick appears on screen, an energy that cannot be replicated or manufactured, only embodied. And that embodiment, that lived-in confidence that Smith brings to Brick, is exactly why his presence has grown from novelty to necessity. What makes Brick's expanded role so tantalizing is not just the dramatic potential, but the implications for the overall tone and direction of General Hospital. Introducing Brick into the heart of major criminal and political storylines marks a tonal shift toward a grittier, more calculated narrative arc. His background, military intelligence, high-level security consulting, Black Ops-style efficiency, allows the show to delve into darker corners of Sonny's empire, uncovering layers of corruption, betrayal, and danger that have long simmered beneath the surface. As a character who straddles the line between enforcer and strategist, Brick opens the door for crossover stories involving domestic intelligence agencies, rogue foreign operatives, and the reawakening of cold alliances from Sonny's past. There's also an emotional component that remains largely untapped but is ripe for development. Who is Brick beyond his role as Sonny's right hand? Does he have family? Regrets? A moral compass that's beginning to crack under the weight of years of silent complicity? These are the questions the writers now have the opportunity to explore. A full-time commitment from Smith would not only cement Brick's place in the GH pantheon, it would allow the character to deepen, evolve, and challenge the audience's assumptions. Brick could become a new kind of antihero, stoic, efficient, but increasingly haunted by the lives he's taken and the truths he's helped to bury. In many ways, Stephen A. Smith stepping into the world of daytime drama full-time would represent a cultural moment. It would reflect the fluidity between media genres in today's entertainment landscape and signal to other public figures that reinvention is not only possible, it's powerful. For General Hospital, it's a chance to amplify its narrative with real-world relevance and a character who can handle both the bullets and the moral ambiguity. As Smith stands at this professional crossroads, fans and critics alike are watching closely. Will he choose the familiar lights of the sports studio, or will he embrace the unpredictable darkness of Port Charles, where every ally may be an enemy? And every truth has a price. If Brick is indeed Smith's destined role, then the future of General Hospital is not just secure, it's about to be redefined. Stephen A. Smith's rapidly growing body of work outside the realm of General Hospital is a testament to his serious commitment to acting and storytelling. No longer merely a sports commentator dabbling in entertainment, Smith has been steadily carving out a new identity within Hollywood's fiercely competitive terrain. His appearances in the hit comedy series Blackish, the critically acclaimed boxing drama Creed III, and, most recently, a gripping guest spot on Law and Order have revealed a side of him that is both versatile and compelling. Each role has showcased a different facet of his persona, whether it be comedic timing, physical intensity, or legal world gravitas, and proved he has the range and gravitas to step beyond the commentary desk into full-fledged character work. These performances were not novelty appearances, they were markers of a man who understands the language of performance and has the instinct to harness it powerfully. In light of this, the idea of Brick becoming a permanent, central figure in General Hospital is no longer speculative indulgence, it is an opportunity waiting to be seized. Should this character transition into full-time status, the entire power structure of Port Charles could be redefined. Brick is no ordinary foot soldier in Sonny Corinthos' criminal empire. He is uniquely positioned to rise, or rebel. A long-term arc could see him clashing with Jason Morgan in a battle for influence and operational control. With Jason's loyalties sometimes strained and his moral compass often in question, Brick could be written as a more calculated, loyal alternative, someone who doesn't hesitate, doesn't doubt, and doesn't fail. If the writers choose to explore the possibility of Jason once again exiting the narrative, Brick is the natural heir to the position of Sonny's most trusted operative. But beyond the domestic turf, there's room to push Brick's influence beyond the borders of Port Charles. Given his backstory, Brick could be utilized as the linchpin in a broader international storyline, potentially involving Eastern European arms dealers, Middle Eastern cartels, or even disavowed operatives from intelligence agencies. He could serve as Sonny's liaison to global syndicates. A man capable of navigating not just the streets but also the shadows of global crime networks. Such a pivot would not only expand the scope of General Hospital but also modernize its tone, bringing elements of political espionage, cyber warfare, and transnational crime into the daytime soap format. Of course, Brick's past actions, particularly the cold execution of a hired assassin in a hospital setting, cannot remain buried forever. If the federal government or the WSB catches wind of his activities, Brick could find himself at the center of a high-stakes investigation. Such a storyline would place the character in moral peril, forcing him to choose between his unwavering loyalty to Sonny and his own survival. It's within this crucible of tension and betrayal that Stephen A. Smith would be given the opportunity to fully flex his dramatic muscles. Portraying Brick as a man caught between duty and consequence would add depth to the character and give Smith the kind of emotionally charged scenes, haunted gazes, bitter regrets, cold rage, that define award-worthy performances. Naturally, the potential elevation of Brick has stirred debate within the GH community. On one hand, fans excited by the show's evolution have embraced Smith's expanded presence, heralding it as a bold step forward that injects freshness and unpredictability. They see Brick as a new archetype, a modern enforcer who isn't a clone of past characters but brings a distinct sensibility, sharp, tech-savvy, disciplined, and emotionally restrained. On the other hand, some longtime viewers express concern that Brick's rise might disrupt the balance of the ensemble, particularly pushing aside legacy characters like Dante or Anna, who've anchored core storylines for years. There's an underlying fear that introducing a powerful new figure might dilute screen time for familiar faces or shift thematic focus too far into action thriller territory. Still, it's difficult to deny that Brick's recent scenes have elevated General Hospital's energy. His involvement has intensified the pace, sharpened the stakes, and given the show a palpable sense of edge that feels relevant to today's broader storytelling trends. Brick doesn't just walk into a scene, he changes the temperature. He brings with him not only muscle and menace but also strategic foresight and narrative versatility, all of which can be used to connect storylines that otherwise would remain siloed. Whether it's law enforcement, politics, family drama, or criminal intrigue, Brick can anchor any subplot, making him an invaluable narrative tool. From a fleeting cameo role to a potential narrative cornerstone, Stephen A. Smith's journey with General Hospital has become a case study in how reinvention, when fueled by passion and authenticity, can break through even the most rigid industry expectations. His transformation proves that barriers between industries, be it sports journalism or daytime drama, are far more permeable than once believed. In many ways, Brick stands as the embodiment of this blurring of lines. He is both a character within a story and a symbol of what's possible when you dare to pivot your path. If the transformation becomes permanent, the implications stretch beyond Port Charles. Smith's full-time presence on General Hospital would force both Hollywood and daytime television to re-examine the definition of casting, legacy, and cultural impact. It would raise questions about crossover influence and perhaps inspire other personalities from sports, politics, or entertainment to consider storytelling as a legitimate second act. In doing so, Brick would become more than just a character, he would be a bridge between two storytelling worlds. So, the question now is not simply, will Brick stay? But, what will General Hospital become if he does? Are viewers prepared to witness Stephen A. Smith not just debating plays on sports television but drawing guns in back alleys, interrogating spies, and challenging decades of organized crime legacy on their screens? The role has outgrown its original shape, and so has the actor playing it. What lies ahead may not only reshape Port Charles, it may mark a defining chapter in the history of American daytime drama. The game has changed. Brick has entered the arena. And whether audiences love him, fear him, or question him, one thing is certain, they won't be able to ignore him.